Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time you're listening to this podcast or watching this Twitch stream right now. Welcome to the latest episode of Lights, Camera, Rant, where we look into the latest news and then we get into the reviews, which is this particular episode, we're going to be looking at the PlayStation State of Play, we're going to be looking at Rick and Morty, and we're going to be looking at the latest episode of She-Hulk. Before we get into that, always go to the very first thing first, which is, go crack open the bottle or can. To start us off, which this particular, not drinking any whiskey, I'm trying Kraken rum this time. I thought I'd give it a shot. I've got it a couple of times. It tastes really good, but I thought, I'll go away from the whiskey today, or the bourbon. I thought, no, I'll dive straight into some rum to get this episode started. So, as I just mentioned before, we are currently on Twitch at the moment. We stream every Sunday so far, unless I say otherwise. We are video streaming, so please, if you do have the time, come past and say hello and join the conversation. If not, as you guys also know, all these episodes get launched every Tuesday morning. And if you guys haven't already, please go check out the last episode where we had Star Wars podcast join in for an episode. That was a lot of fun. And as well as if you haven't already, go check out Pixel Pints. I made an appearance on there. A great bunch of guys, great to chat with. Go check out their channel. Go check out Star Wars. Last week was very busy, back and forth. With guests and popping appearances. But it was a lot of fun. It was great chatting with these guys. It's great to pick their brain, especially on these different topics. Pixel Pints was all about the MCU, the episode, video games, the state, and why there's no MCU games at all, as Marvel dropped the ball. And obviously across with Star Wars, we spoke about D23, we spoke about our predictions, everything that came out. Especially if you think you've missed anything, please go check it out. We went full in depth. It was about a 2-hour episode. Loved every single minute of it. So please definitely go check that out. And without further ado, let's get into this episode. So this little tidbit of news I've got for you guys is not movie related, not TV related, not video game related. This one is about Roger Federer. So if you don't know, I obviously play tennis. It's the sport I play ever since I was a kid and watched it multiple times, more of the Grand Slams, so many matches. And Roger Federer is one of those top people that I always enjoyed watching, which is very sad news that we got this week. And he's retiring. He's finally hanging up the racket, technically. So he'll still play, but he's retiring from the pro circuit. As in the next couple of weeks, we will have a London ATP tournament, and that will be the last time that he'll be playing on the Pro League. And I have no doubt the tickets have just skyrocketed for it. But it's very sad. When I saw the news, I was like, it's the end of an era. Roger Federer is considered, not the greatest tennis player of all time. His records have been beaten by his competitors, Djokovic, Nadal. They've all beaten him. But, the unique thing about Roger Federer is that if you, for example, if you create a video game character and you put all the attributes of that character 100%, that's Roger Federer. Whatever game he had, backhand, forehand, smash, anything, drop shot, he can master it. He did it. He was the best all-round player, and the best thing was the fact that he was so humble on the court every time. You never saw him do an outburst. You never saw him get angry. Some players put on a show, but, what's the flog's name? Trying to think. Unfortunately, he's Australian, which is really annoying, and I don't really like to put our name to him. I'm trying. My God, his name just escapes me. He's an absolute tosser. Anyone who's a tennis fan knows exactly who I'm talking about. His name just escapes me, and it's an end of an era. You know, he's been on the pro circuit since the late 90s. He's going to that age right now, and you know, he's going to try it in. He put it on Twitter saying thank you to all his fans, and it's a very sweet message. But it's very sad to see that he's started to go, and biggest thing, it's end of an era, you know, and one of the all-time greats is going to be hanging up the racket, and I know I'll be watching it next week to watch his last few matches, and I know everyone's going to be rooting for him to win it, but, you know, if a young gun comes in, and if you beat Roger Federer in his last pro match, that's a notch under your belt that you'll be able to carry for your entire career. A lot of people might not like you for it, but the fact that you will be the last person Roger Federer versus on a pro circuit. He'll still do tournaments, he'll still do coaching, but he will no longer be considered in the top 200 pro tournament. Like, he's fully taking himself out. So it's very sad, but so I had to touch on that. But he's moving on. So let's continue on. For any Witcher fans, season 3 has officially wrapped up. It's on Instagram. That's all done, dusted. There is no release date for The Witcher season 3. I'm guessing if it's finished now, you're probably looking at Feb, March next year for it to pop out. Apparently, season 4 and season 5 are heavily in pre-production, and most likely will be shot back to back. That's a lot of shooting, but for any Witcher fans, you still got season 3 is done, season 4 and season 5 are on the way, and they're definitely going to be coming soon. But you know, gotta keep Henry Cavill down. He's doing a fantastic job. Not like Warner Brothers wants him at all. Oh God. But yeah, Witcher fans, you're in for a treat. Also moving on, David Harbour from the Stranger Things and from Black Widow. Also, he will be also in Thunderbolts. He's announced the fact he will be joining the cast for the brand new Gran Turismo movie. Yes, so, you know, if you didn't know already, that is indeed correct. A Gran Turismo movie is currently in the works. No plot details at the moment. But the District 9 director, Neil Colump, or probably butcher his last name, he will be directing the movie. And that's currently in production at the moment. Hopefully it's not going to be anything like Fast and Furious, nothing like Need for Speed. It's just, hopefully it's going to be very unique. And we know that PlayStation's going to really, because this one, it's very titular, big franchise, it's going to be very hands-on how it's going to be presented. But before we get Gran Turismo, we will begin the Twisted Metal TV show that will be appearing on Peacock. That's already wrapped up filming. But I think the next in line after Uncharted movie is the Gran Turismo movie. I think that's the next one they'll be clicking along. Speaking of video game franchises, Season 2 of Halo has begun production. As we can see in the cast post on Instagram, they're currently in Iceland shooting. Look, I certainly hope the fact that the next season will be better than the first, and we actually get to see more Halo. You know, the actual ring, the actual show it's about, and less of him taking off his flippin' helmet. As we know, potentially at the end of Halo 1, season 1. Spoilers for the entire episode, guys. You know there's going to be spoilers in my reviews and news. You know it. So strap yourselves in. As we know, right at the end of season 1 of Halo, it's looked at the Master Chief is actually dead and Cortana's controlling his body. But we do know that's going to be reversed instantly because that's the whole relationship it's built off. So you know you will see him very soon. If season 2 is currently right now being shooting, I would predict you will see it late next year. Mid-June. I'd say June for the time. In September, October. Yeah, June, July premiere. I highly doubt it's going to be premiering in 2025. I'd say, we'll get it late next year compared to this year. We were at first thing in the morning. First thing in the year. Jesus. Moving on. For any Blade Runner fans, you're in for a treat, which I was really excited for this. I was really excited. So Amazon Prime currently has greenlit a Blade Runner 2099 live-action TV series. Now, Ridley Scott, I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. Ridley Scott and Michael Green, both executive producers, will be working on the show. They both worked on the last Blade Runner movie. I'm very curious to see what kind of direction this will go in. I fully expect not to see any returning characters from the Blade Runner movie. I doubt you're going to see Harrison Ford at all. But I don't think any characters will be returning. But I am so up for a live-action TV show in the setting of Blade Runner. I think it'll be fantastic, visually stunning. And if you haven't seen Blade Runner, you need to go watch it. Blade Runner is one of those movies that, it set a precedence moving forward. Once you watch Blade Runner, you see bits and pieces in so many different mediums because of how it was all set up. The music, the futuristic. Yes, there is about, I think, 10 different cuts about the movie, but, it's still well worth. It makes you think a lot, especially towards the end, depending which version you watch. And trust me, for anyone who has seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So definitely go check that out. Blade Runner, the movie and the sequel. But no release date for the Blade Runner live action TV series at this stage. But if it's got that Amazon money, it's going to look fantastic. It's going to be really good. All right, moving on. So another thing, this could potentially be Deadpool 3. Long stretch. So Marvel has announced that apparently one of its unannounced movie slots have been moved back by 4 months. So Feb 2024 to September 2024. With everything that's been announced from Comic-Con to D23, there is still pockets of release dates that Marvel has confirmed with no attached name to it. Now, there's a lot of speculation. There's Deadpool 3. There's Doctor Strange 3. There's Shang-Chi 2. It's all on the table. Captain Marvel 3. That's all on the table. So whether or not who that's going to be, but we do know Deadpool 3 is currently in active, full development. Don't think they've started shooting it. It's all pre-production, but it's in active development at this stage. So I do hope it's Deadpool 3. Look, because it's unannounced, I can't be really gutted. It's going just like, okay, not the end of the world. We know it is a movie slot, not a TV show. So anyway, you're going to get hyped about that. That's another thing to look at, whether or not. So, but that's currently moved back. Speaking of moved back, Sony has announced that both Craven the Hunter and Madam Webb have been pushed back. Craven the Hunter has been pushed back until October 2024, and Madam Webb has been pushed back to Feb 2025. Looks like they've both been pushed back about 4 months from their original release date, which I'm pretty sure, I think, not Craven the Hunter, but I think Madam Webb, that's actually the second time it's been pushed back, which, if they never come out, I'm not fazed, because what Sony is going to do, just absolutely butcher it. God, just really not looking forward to either of those movies. And I don't know anyone I've been speaking to that's gone, oh my God, I can't wait to see Madam Webb. Oh, I can't wait to see Craven the Hunter, who's actually environmentally friendly and actually wants to save the animals and will be wearing his lion mane. Look, I could be completely wrong. These could be really good movies, but from Sony's track record, I do not give a shit. And most likely, again, will reinforce the fact that Sony needs to sell the rights to Spider-Man completely back to Marvel because they don't know what to do. Morbius. That's all you need to see and watch, and you know exactly what I mean. But yeah, they've also been pushed back for Shang-Chi 2. The rumor for that movie is February 2025. In the social circles, the news, that's what it's reported for. So fingers crossed, we need Shang-Chi 2 already. It's sadly going to have to wait that long, but I understand why. So it's not overly gutted, but yeah, I can't understand why. But also moving on, speaking of new movies, Sony has announced a new Karate Kid movie is currently in the works stated for June 7th, 2024, and apparently it'll be returned to form as a spiritual sequel to the original movies, which we're seeing that a lot more lately. Spiritual sequels or franchise legacy sequels to the original movie. So, perfect example, Jurassic Park 6, Top Gun. Both of them sequels to the original movie instead of starting fresh, completely fresh. Because there was the Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan that didn't do too well, as we know, because there was only one of it. But have you seen everything with Cobra Kai? That's through the roof. You be a Karate Kid fan is right now is the best time to be alive. So as you can see, so all going forward with that, Karate Kid new movie is in the works. No cast listing, none of that. It's just an announcement before you get overly excited. Also continue on. Apparently, Miss Marvel has been greenlit for a season 2. When I saw this, I also thought to myself, funny how I don't give a shit. I said in the last episode, as I said, out of all the shows that we've gotten from the MCU, Miss Marvel is not the first show I'd say I want season 2. I need to know more about this character. It could be they're doing that because she won't be getting her own movie for a while. I understand that, but no. I like Moon Knight season 2 announced already. That's what we want. Moon Knight season 2. I know a lot of people will probably be like, "Oh my god, why has that been greenlit?" Like myself, but if she's not getting her own movie, I get it. It makes sense. And past week. Now, moving on. Now, one of the most biggest news the past week, which I was completely blown out of the water from, and I was fully surprised, is that apparently we are going to be getting a Constantine sequel with Keanu Reeves returning for the titular character 17 years after the first movie that came out. So the first movie that came out, it definitely made its money on a budget from 70 to 80 million budget with a box office of 230 million. It made its money. However, I don't believe it was very received by critics. People, and even people from the comics, didn't overly like it. However, as just a viewership and fans, we really did like it. And people have been clamoring and petitioning to finally get a sequel to this movie, and it's happening. It shows you. So, we've got Matrix 4, we've got John Wick 4, and now we're going to get Constantine sequel. Now, no release date at this stage. However, I'm most curious to see what he's been up to in the past 17 years. Go back and watch it. It is a good movie. Yes, it does have its some points that you're like, but at the same time, it's a good movie. Keanu Reeves, again, does a fantastic job, and I recommend to go watch it. So I'm very curious to see how this will be set up, what the budget's going to be, because, with everything going on, and, who else will appear into it. So Constantine, DC Comics, you have seen him in the Arrowverse, the Flashverse, Crisis Infinity Earths. You've seen him in also the animated movies. This will be only the second time he will get a movie adaptation live action. He has been on TV show multiple times. He's an animated, but Constantine, this will be the second time him being on screen. So strap yourselves in, guys, because that is on its way. Let's continue moving on. Let's go on to what also happened in the past week is PlayStation State of Play. Now, We got a bit of news. We definitely got some new games that we for the PlayStation VR 2 that got announced. Their new and improved version. A couple of games are coming out. So No Man's Sky we got a preview for. A new Horizon Zero Dawn, Call of the Mountains, which looks fantastic. I probably will get the VR, depending. Like, I've got the VR right now. I like it, but I haven't played a lot of it. But, No Man's Sky or Horizon Zero Dawn in VR. Ooh, yeah. You could tempt me. Like the No Man's Sky, like just being in a spaceship like that and just seeing the worlds and everything being that interactive would be fantastic. How much the budget for that when that comes out is the biggest thing, is how much it's going to cost, because it nearly costs exactly the same price as buying a PlayStation or an Xbox for full price. So be aware of that when that comes out. So we got previews for that. That was pretty good to look at. We also found out that Hogwarts Legacy will have some exclusive content for PlayStation. Woo! Definitely not going to say no to that. And we also got the fact that Tekken 8 got announced, which looks so crisp. Please tell me you watched the trailer. It looks so crisp and fantastic. I'm like looking, going, this looks great. And obviously, everything that got announced, just give a warning, if you haven't already, please follow us on Instagram, because everything that got announced, we will be posting to keep you guys up to date, especially if you think you've missed anything. Please follow us to make sure we keep you up to date, because I know between PlayStation State of Play, D23, there is just so much content. It's so easy to miss something and go, oh, I really wanted to see that. I really want to know that bit. And you just missed it all completely. I could tell you, someone goes to me, oh, did you see that game at State of Play? I'm like, what game? Oh, it was like this far down the list. I'm like, no, I didn't. I saw all the 10, 15 in front of it. But we will make sure to keep you guys up to date. But yeah, we did see that. So Tekken was a big thing. And we also, the biggest thing as State of Play, we got a brand new trailer for God of War, which looked fantastic. That is the biggest thing from State of Play. The trailer looked great. The action, the landscape, the visuals looks stunning. And not to mention, right at the end, Kratos versus Thor. That looks fantastic. And, a little tidbit I noticed when it zoomed right in. So Thor throws his hammer, right? And instead of it like in Chris Hemsworth, where it just comes right back to him when he thinks it, he's got to click his fingers for it to come back. You can see it come straight back. Like you're clicking for a dog or something. Come here, boy. With a hammer coming straight at you. But, that trailer was just godsmacked. No pun intended. Just looking at going, yes, Elden Ring will most likely win Game of the Year, but this is going to win Game of the Year for every fan. Every person that's not a critic or anything like that, this is going to be the Game of the Year. This is the game that you're going to walk out of 2022 and go, that was the game. That is the one. Because just watching the trailer, I'm so excited for it. It's just something special about it. And just, visually, this game is going to be, even for the casual person, you need to pick this up. This is going to be something special. And obviously we don't, depending on how it ends, we don't even know if they're going to make it God of War 6. So, and if they toe it off as 5, it'd be wrapping up everything well. So, guys, you need to watch the trailer, strap yourselves in. This is just going to be one wild ride, and it's something that it's going to be really gut-wrenching if it is going to be the last one. And getting towards the end that come with this fantastic journey with these 2 back-to-back games, colossally powerhouses. And I didn't even know there was going to be a trailer for it. I thought we are just going to get that was the last one previously. But yeah, and it's right around the corner, guys. It is coming soon. Get yourselves ready. It's right around the corner, and the internet is going to blow up when it comes out, especially Twitch. It's just going to go nuts. But that was the biggest highlights for me going to PlayStation State of Play. There are a couple of games that also got announced, a couple of remakes, but I'll post them onto Instagram because they're just little bits they're just like tidbits here, nothing major news, but they were the biggest highlights of that. And honestly, I'm so excited. So excited. And I hope you guys come along with this journey when these all come out. And get ready for it. So moving on, let's move into Rick and Morty. All right, so before anyone asks, as I'm recording this on Sunday. The episode of Rick and Morty gets dropped on Monday. So I haven't watched episode 3 yet before someone asks, all right? So Rick and Morty has come back. We have the latest season. So I didn't get to mention this last week. So episode 1 we got of the new season was a direct episode from the last season where Rick and Morty were. Typical Rick and Morty episode. I love seeing these characters back. And the adventures they do go on. And the fact that we got the nice Avengers Endgame moments and a few quirks here and there. That was definitely pure Rick and Morty. I really liked that first episode. The last week's or this week's, it was all right. I find sometimes with Rick and Morty, you get a really good golden episode, and then you get one that's a bit subpar. It's not typical. It's it's oh yeah. It's not overly great. But I think for me, the reason why the first episode last season was better is because we got more backstory on Rick. We actually find out how, his backstory is actually real and how messed up and sad it is, and just, and the other Rick's still out there, and he's still, he knows he's hunting for him and how much he still loves his grandkids. But you look at the story, it's just sad. But it's kind of a conundrum that he made for himself. But we have not seen in the last 2 episodes. We have not seen evil Morty. We haven't seen evil Morty from where he got zapped to. So we don't know where he's currently or what's happening with him. But the creators have confirmed that you will see him this season, so he will pop in. So it could be next episode, it could be 4 or 5 episodes, it could be closer to the end. So you don't know when. But don't you worry, Evil Morty is on the horizon, guys. But yeah, first episode, great. Second episode, typical. But look, guys, I would love for you to tell me, are you enjoying the last 2 episodes of Rick and Morty? Do you feel like it's still strong? To me, it's still very strong. It's going great. Hard to believe how long the show's been going for and its history from where it comes from, which for anyone who doesn't know, Rick and Morty was the first template of it was a spoof of Back to the Future. You can go on YouTube, you can see it, what the original creators made. So definitely go check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, that's where it was. So, which you can already tell it's a spoof from Back to the Future. But this was more Doc and Marty, not Doc and Morty. Also, it's funny enough, I don't know if you already saw, but Rick and Morty did a great, fantastic promo with God of War video, which was fantastic advertisement. Really like that. So looking forward to more Rick and Morty, looking forward to more God of War. But look, I hope this week's episode 3 will be more akin to the first episode to keep on that high. But yeah, tell me, guys, are you enjoying it so far? And what do you think? And let's move on to our last big topic of the evening or afternoon or whatever time that you are listening to this podcast. All right, so the last thing we're going to be talking about, as you guys always know, we're going to be talking about She-Hulk. So the latest episode is She-Hulk, which is called Mean Green and Straight Poured into These Jeans. And I sound like Dr. Seuss. So this particular episode ended the after credit scenes. They're stopped. Something I need to mention, I don't think I mentioned it last week. I am loving the animation style at the end of each episode. Like this comic book strip style. I think that's drawn really well. I'm really liking it. And again, this episode was still strong to me. I don't think this episode, even though there's no wongers, some wongers, some pingers, some wongers was not in this particular episode. So no cameo from him. And I feel like the She-Hulk is still going very strong. I don't feel the dip to me, like compared to Miss Marvel. I don't think I remember one dip in Moon Knight, but every episode so far seems to be solid. Like I'm not feeling like Halo. Halo began this year. There was massive dips in that, which everyone can agree with me. But for She-Hulk, it's still keeping different. It's still trying things new, and it doesn't waver it. So this episode opens up with the fact that Titania has the She-Hulk name, and she's currently passing it on all her beauty products everywhere. She-Hulk this, She-Hulk booty pump, She-Hulk perfume everywhere, and the fact that Jennifer didn't trademark her name, and so this turns into a conundrum at her work because her boss said the fact that you need to fix this because it doesn't look good on her working with the firm. She can't fix it, then she's fired. So she teams up with one of the other lawyers in the firm that we did see in episode 2. I don't think we've seen her since then. She teams up with her. She'll be representing Jennifer because the fact Jennifer can't represent herself going up against Titania, which we do see a scene where Jennifer and Nikki do confront Titania, which she just basically plugs them off and goes away. And she's not going to stop. So again, thank God for a lawyer show. This does end up into a court case again between She-Hulk versus Titania. Titania doesn't use any of her powers. I've still kind of boggled at this stage why she smashed into the courtroom on that first episode, yet she didn't use any of her powers in this episode. Jennifer does mention that she's semi-strong for some reason, but you don't see that in this episode. And at the same time, while that's going on, Nikki is speaking to Pug. And Pug mentions the fact that he's asking Nikki for a favor to help him stand in line to get the Iron Man 3s, fresh kicks that have just come out, and that he's a shoe collector, Wonder Rock, Wonder Stock. So she asks him for help, and he has a drip collector. So drip, what is it? You say drip? Drip collector. It's drip something. I've forgotten. Drip guy. That can get all these different kicks. He does mention the fact he's got quite the collection. So Nikki says to him, I'll help you if you can help me meet your drip guy so we can make an outfit for Jennifer. So it leads to them going to, Pug takes him to a shop where he believes to meet the drip guy, which they do meet this other guy who's basically just plays the front. He thinks that they want their gear, so he shows them all this illegal Avengers merch with the Avengers and the Avengers, which that was funny. I like that. Pug actually buys some. But this guy helps them meet the other guy, which is the actual drip guy, and they set up a meeting. So as they set up a meeting, Nikki takes Jennifer to go meet this guy, which his name's Luke, which you instantly, when I was watching this, I was like, it's Edna Mode. It's Edna Mode from Incredibles. Instantly. And you're watching it going, yeah, that's Edna Mode. That was the first thing that came into mind when I saw this. I'm like, same kind of mannerisms, even at the speaking box as well. Same thing. It's like you're Edna Mode, but just the male version. I was like, trying to think of what Anna's actually is, but yes, you do see her. You do see her as sorry, you see him, and as they're talking, Nikki's trying to sell the fact that Jennifer is not one of the Avengers yet, but she's going to be. She's going to be a big deal. And Luke says the fact that, look, reluctantly, I can make you a suit because it would need to help with Jennifer's body because of the fact that she obviously goes from human to She-Hulk and then he's adjustable. And he agrees to the fact he will do it. And he has a very extensive clientele and he can make kind of any kind of suit. So he's kind of like Melvin from Daredevil. He can make any kind of suits. So he says that he will do that. As the scene progresses, it goes back to the court case between Jennifer and Titania. We're going about the name. This is kind of sad. So Jennifer also has to bring in all her love interests from the previous episode from everybody who, well, people that liked her as She-Hulk, because she was referring to her as She-Hulk, saying, I actually do use the name. I accepted the name. But we get the love interest from that she right at the end, which, says to, was the one that was disinterested in her when she became Jennifer, which we do get another scene where the question is asked, would you still date her if she wasn't She-Hulk? And he said no. And again, I feel bad for her. I felt bad for the last episode because it's sad because the fact that she knows that they don't really like her because she's She-Hulk. Jennifer's boring. Everyone wants to know the She-Hulk. So it does help her case, but you do feel for her. I felt for her. I was like, oh, that's so gut-wrenching to get told in a courtroom full of people that you, as a human, are uninteresting. People only want to know you as a She-Hulk. People would only want to date you as the She-Hulk. So that was very sad. But because of that, she won the case, and now she can trademark the name She-Hulk. I love the scene earlier where she's talking to her lawyer friend, and she's like, Doctor Strange, Thor, they didn't trademark their name. And she's like, you've picked two people that is their name. She's like, oh. So, she wins the court case. Titania's kind of gone for now. This won't be the last time we see Titania because Mark Ruffalo did post a photo of him with her in some front house, him wearing the CGI gear. So it won't be the last time. And obviously it's going to be the last time we're going to see Abomination either. And then Jennifer goes back to Luke, the fashion guru, Edna Luke. There you go, trademark, bingo, Edna Luke, where he gives her suits. But he also gives her costume as well, which we don't get to see, but he gives it to her, and she's like, whoa, what's this? So which we're seeing clippets here and there, promotional material of her superhero suit, but obviously we haven't seen an episode fully yet, but he gives her that as well. But this is the best part. So as Luke's going around, he picks up this box, puts it down, and says, oh no, client confidentiality, I'll get the lid to close it. Camera zooms in. It's Daredevil's helmet. It's Daredevil's yellow helmet. Yeah, boy. I really hope it's the next episode. I really do. But yeah, we do get at the very end, and boom, end scene. And all the acting, in loving it. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving Nikki. I'm loving Jennifer, and Titania. I'm loving all the back and forth that we're getting. CGI is still holding up for me. I'm not handling it. This still, to me, is a solid episode. I was not disinterested at any point. I wasn't a yawn. I found myself laughing and loving the back and forth. And I'm enjoying the show a whole lot more than Miss Marvel. Honestly, if you haven't already, jump onto Miss Marvel. Sorry, no. Jump onto She-Hulk right now. You will not be disappointed. It is different. It is different to your typical Marvel movie, because that's the thing, is that obviously every Marvel TV show should be different, and that continues this trend. And I really do hope, even as the series progresses to the final, it continues holding that, because She-Hulk will be a pillar, I have no doubt, in the MCU moving forward. She will be in Avengers. And we don't know when she's going to pop up next. But I really do hope in the next episode we get the Daredevil episode. We get to see Charlie Cox come back as the titular character. It makes perfect sense, the fact of why he's gone to this guy to build his suits, because R.I.P. Melvin is dead. So it makes more sense why if you have seen Daredevil Season 3, why he's gone with the yellow suit. So even that makes sense why he's changed from the red moving forward and why it's yellow. So I really do hope next episode is going to be with Charlie Cox. Sadly, I have heard that he is only going to be on for one episode, so he most likely will not be in the season finale. This is just an appearance, and that's it. Even Charlie Cox said in an interview at D23, he lost his mind when he got to see the new suit. He's like, yes, because he knew it like as a fan. So he's really excited. He can't wait for everyone to see the episode. And not to mention the fact that most likely he will also be, it's rumored, but I don't think it's been confirmed, he will be in the Echo TV show as well. So, and not to mention again, as I said, the animation style right at the end, we see Pug holding the brand new Iron Man 3s, and we get to see all the background from all the other shoes he has. And if you zoom in, there's Fantastic Four shoes, there's Deadpool shoes, there's Wolverine shoes, there's Ghost Rider shoes, all across. So Marvel is leaving all these tidbits, leaving you all these tidbits to they know that they're coming. It's coming soon, guys. So that is my review of She-Hulk. Loving it. They're teasing us. Deadpool's on the way. Daredevil is on the way. It's all coming through. So you just got to get excited, guys. It's going to be fantastic. And I really hope that Daredevil is going to be in the next episode. So you just got to be excited for it. It's a great time to be alive with all this content coming out and everything that's coming soon. So guys, that is the episode. That is my review of She-Hulk and latest news. So guys, you tell me, are you enjoying She-Hulk at the moment? Are you bored of it? Or you're like, nah, I'm done with it. It's too woke or whatever you call it. I don't even know what that means. But until next time, guys, I would like to see you in the next episode, and happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until